My child, listen carefully. This message is not by accident. You didn't click on this video randomly. God is speaking to you right now, in this very moment. There is something shifting in your life, even if you can't see it yet. Even if everything around you looks the same, heaven is already moving. You've been waiting for answers, waiting for change, waiting for relief. Some of you have been praying quietly, late at night, wondering if God still hears you. Others have been holding on with tired hands, saying, God, I trust you, but I'm exhausted. And God says, I know. But you've been misunderstood, overlooked, delayed. You've watched others move forward while you felt stuck. You asked yourself, did I do something wrong? God says, no, I was preparing you. What I'm about to do in your life will not just bless you, it will shock you. This is not a small change. This is not a partial breakthrough. This is not a quiet improvement. God says, I'm about to move in a way that will silence doubt, erase fear, and confirm my presence in your life. People who doubted you will watch in amazement. People who walked away will hear your testimony. Even you will say, only God could have done this. But right now, pause for a moment. If this message is speaking to you, type, I receive it in the comments. Don't stay silent. Faith responds. You see, the delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. God has been working behind the scenes, aligning people, closing doors you didn't even know were dangerous, and protecting you from things that would have broken you. You thought the closed doors meant rejection, but God says, I was redirecting you. Some of you are coming out of a season where nothing made sense. You cried without knowing why. You felt pressure without explanation. God says, that pressure was not to crush you, it was to prepare you. Diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. There is a sudden shift coming, a phone call you weren't expecting, an opportunity that seems too good to be real, a healing that doctors couldn't explain, a financial breakthrough that arrives right on time. God says, watch how quickly things change when I step in. And listen closely. This next blessing will not come the way you imagined. It will come better, bigger, cleaner, without the stress you thought you'd have to endure. God says, I am removing the struggle from the blessing. You won't have to beg. You won't have to chase. What is meant for you will come looking for you. If you've been feeling a strange mix of fear and excitement lately, that's not random. That's spiritual anticipation. God is stirring something inside you because you're closer than you think. Don't quit now. Don't pull back now. Don't let doubt talk you out of what God has already approved. Comment, I trust God's timing if you're still holding on, even when it's hard. There are people watching you who don't know the battles you fought in private. They don't know how many times you almost gave up. God says, I saw every tear. Not one prayer was wasted. Not one cry was ignored. What I am about to do will prove that your faith was not foolish. This next season will restore your confidence. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will pray with boldness again. God says, I am giving you your voice back. The heaviness will lift. The confusion will clear. The strength you thought you lost will return. But hear this. When the blessing comes, stay humble, stay thankful, stay close to God. The same God who lifts you can also protect you from pride. God says, I am blessing you, so you can be a testimony, not a distraction. Right now, before we continue, like this video and comment where you're watching from. Let your faith be seen. Someone else needs to know they're not alone. This is only the beginning. What God is about to do will shock you, but it will also strengthen you. And in the next part, I will tell you why this shift is happening now and what you must do to stay aligned with it. Stay with me. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. God says, the reason this shift is happening now is because you are finally ready. not perfect. Ready. Ready in your faith, ready in your heart, ready in your obedience. There were things you asked for before that God could not release yet, not because He didn't love you, but because the weight of the blessing would have overwhelmed you. Now, you've been stretched, strengthened, and refined. You survived seasons that should have broken you. You stayed kind when bitterness would have been easier. You kept praying even when nothing changed. God says, that endurance qualified you. What you're about to step into requires maturity, patience, and trust. And you have more of that now than you realize. Some of you are wondering why things felt harder right before this message found you, why the attacks increased, why the discouragement became louder. God says the enemy always reacts when he knows his time is short. The resistance you felt is proof that something valuable is on the other side. You weren't losing ground. You were crossing into new territory. If this connects with your life right now, comment, "This is for me," and don't overthink it. God says, I am closing cycles that drained you, relationships that confused you, situations that kept repeating, patterns that made you question yourself. This is a season of clarity. You will no longer have to guess who is for you. You will no longer chase validation. You will no longer explain your worth. God is removing what no longer fits where He's taking you. There is a peace coming that doesn't depend on circumstances. Even before everything changes on the outside, something will settle on the inside. Anxiety will loosen its grip. Fear will lose its voice. God says, I am replacing survival mode with confidence. You will wake up one day and realize you're no longer bracing for impact. You're expecting good. Some of you are stepping into answered prayers you prayed years ago and almost forgot about. God says, I never forgot. I just waited until the timing was right. What felt delayed was actually protected. What felt denied was actually reserved. You don't need to force anything right now. Stop rushing. Stop comparing your timeline to someone else's. God says, what I am doing in your life cannot be copied. Your story will be unique. Your breakthrough will be personal. Your testimony will carry weight because of what you endured. Take a moment and comment, God is working for me, if you believe that, even a little. This next season will require you to let go of control, not effort, control. God says, trust me even when you don't understand the process. You don't have to know every step. You just have to keep walking. I will order your steps as you move. Some doors will open suddenly. Don't be afraid to walk through them. You are not underqualified. You are not behind. You are not pretending. God says, I prepared you in private for what I'm about to do in public. The confidence will come after the obedience. And yes, there will be moments where you feel unworthy of the blessing. That's normal. Grace always feels undeserved. God says, I'm not blessing you because you earned it. I'm blessing you because I promised. This is covenant, not coincidence. Be careful who you share your next season with. Not everyone who knew you in your struggle can handle you in your elevation. God says, protect what I'm growing, move quietly, pray deeply, celebrate privately until I say it's time. Right now, like this video and comment a heart if you are choosing faith over fear. You may notice that things you once tolerated now feel heavy. That's growth. God says, I am sharpening your discernment. You will no longer ignore red flags. You will no longer settle for less than peace. You will choose alignment over attachment. This is also a season of restoration, not just things. You, your confidence, your joy, your sense of purpose. God says, I am restoring what life tried to steal from you. The smile will come back. The hope will return. The motivation will rise again. Don't be surprised if old doors try to reopen. Old habits, old people, old temptations. God says those are distractions, not opportunities. You're not going backward, you're moving forward. Don't trade your future for familiarity. Stay consistent in prayer even when things improve. Gratitude keeps doors open. Humility keeps blessings protected. God says, walk with me, not ahead of me. If you're still watching and this message is speaking to you, comment I'm read. Why? Because what God is about to do will not just shock you, it will change the way you see yourself. And what's coming next will explain why everything you went through had meaning. God says, now listen closely, because this next part matters. What I am about to do in your life will require courage, not loud courage, quiet courage. The kind that chooses faith every day, even when emotions change. The kind that keeps showing up, even when results aren't immediate. You've outgrown certain places, and deep down, you already know it. That restlessness you feel is not dissatisfaction, it's direction. God says, I am pulling you forward. The discomfort is not meant to scare you, it's meant to move you. Staying where you are would cost you more than stepping into the unknown. Some of you have been asking God for a sign. This is it. Not because everything is clear, but because your spirit recognizes truth. God says, my sheep know my voice, and something in you is responding right now. Take a moment and comment, I hear you. God, if this message feels personal. There will be moments ahead where doubt tries to return. Old thoughts will whisper, what if this fails? What if I'm wrong? God says, that's when you remember what I've already brought you through. You didn't survive all that just to stop here. Your history with God is proof that He finishes what He starts. This next blessing will also bring responsibility. God says, I am trusting you with more inflow. NCE, more peace, more resources, more visibility, and yes, more accountability. But you are not alone in it. I will give you wisdom for every decision and strength for every challenge. You will notice that your prayers begin to change. You won't just pray for escape anymore, you'll pray for purpose. You won't just ask for relief, you'll ask for alignment. God says, I am elevating your perspective. You will start seeing beyond your own needs and recognize how your life is meant to impact others. If you're ready to be used by God, comment use me. Even if it scares you a little, there is also healing happening that you cannot see yet. Emotional wounds you buried, disappointments you never talked about, betrayals you learned to live with. God says, I am healing you at the root. You will not bleed on people who didn't cut you. You will love without fear controlling you. You will trust again, wisely. Some of you are about to receive clarity about a decision you've been avoiding. God says, I will make the path obvious. You won't have to force it. You won't have to manipulate it. When it's time, the door will open smoothly, and you'll feel peace stepping through it. Be patient with yourself during this transition. Growth doesn't always look graceful. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel unsure. God says both days are part of the process. Progress is still progress, even when it's quiet. Don't underestimate small steps. Don't despise beginnings. God often starts with a whisper before He releases a roar. God says, stay faithful in what looks small. What you do consistently matters more than what you do occasionally. Right now, like this video and comment where you're listening from. Let faith connect us across distance. There will be confirmation through people, through timing, through peace that doesn't make sense. God says, I will remind you that this is me. You won't have to chase validation. The alignment will speak for itself. And when the breakthrough comes, because it will, remember who you were before it arrived. Remember the nights you prayed with tears. Remember the days you felt invisible. God says, let gratitude keep your heart soft. Gratitude keeps blessings flowing. You are stepping into a season where you will no longer question your worth. You will no longer accept crumbs. You will no longer shrink to make others comfortable. God says, I'm calling you higher, not above others, deeper in purpose. Some of you will feel led to walk away from what once felt safe. Trust that nudge. God says, if I am removing you, it's because I have something better ahead. You are not losing, you are being repositioned. Stay close to God in this season, not just when you need something, but because you desire Him. God says, seek me, and everything else will align. Your peace depends on connection, not circumstances. If you're still here, still listening, still believing, comment, I won't give up. Because use what God is about to do in your life will shock you. Not just because of how big it is, but because of how perfectly timed it is. And what's coming next will seal this message in your heart. Stay ready, stay faithful. The best is not behind you, it's unfolding now. God says, this is the moment where trust becomes action. You've heard the promise, you've felt the stirring. Now comes the step that proves you believe what I said. Faith is not just agreement. Faith moves, even when your hands shake, even when your voice trembles, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Some of you have been standing at the edge for a long time. You knew something had to change, but fear kept whispering, not yet. God says, if you don't move, you'll stay familiar, but you won't grow. And you were not created to stay stuck in cycles that limit you. Right now, God is asking you to release what you keep holding tightly, not because it's bad, but because it's heavy. Old expectations, old timelines, old versions of yourself. God says, you can't carry the past into the future I prepared. Letting go is not loss, it's alignment. If you feel this in your spirit, comment, I let go, and mean it. There will be moments when obedience doesn't make sense to others. People may question your decisions. They may not understand why you're changing, why you're choosing differently, why you're no longer available for what drains you. God says, you don't need permission from people who don't see W. Hat I showed you. This season will teach you to walk by peace, not pressure. You will no longer say yes just to keep the peace. You will no longer betray yourself to be accepted. God says, I am teaching you healthy boundaries. Boundaries don't push people away, they protect purpose. Some of you are about to experience favor that cannot be explained. Doors opening without struggle, help appearing at the right moment, support coming from unexpected places. God says, this is grace in motion. When I move, things align without force. Don't be surprised if things speed up suddenly. After a long season of waiting, momentum may feel overwhelming. God says, stay grounded. Fast doesn't mean careless. Move wisely. Pray often. Listen closely. Right now, like this video, and comment, God is leading me if you're choosing direction over comfort. There will also be pruning. God says, every branch that bears fruit, I prune so it can bear more. Some connections will fade, some routines will change, some desires will fall away. Don't mourn what I removed. I did it to make room. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. You are not losing compassion. You are gaining discernment. God says, I am sharpening your focus. You won't be distracted by noise the way you used to be. This is also a season of confidence, not arrogance, assurance. You will stop asking, am I enough? And start knowing that with God you are equipped. God says, I don't call the qualified, I call. If he the called, and you are called. If fear tries to rise again, don't fight it alone. Bring it to God immediately. God says, I can handle your honesty. Doubt confessed cannot control you. Fear exposed loses its power. Pay attention to what brings you peace now. God often guides through peace, not chaos. If something constantly robs your peace, it's not from me. God says, I lead with clarity. You will begin to sense when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait. God says, timing matters. Don't rush ahead of grace. Let my hand lead every step. Before we continue, comment I choose obedience if you're ready to move forward, even when it's uncomfortable, because what God is about to do in your life will shock you, but it will also confirm that this stretch, this growth, this surrender was necessary. And what comes next will bring everything together. God says, now I want you to see what all of this has been leading to. This is the season where promises become visible, where prayers take form, where faith turns into testimony. You are not stepping into luck, you are stepping into fulfillment. Some of you thought the waiting would never end. You wondered how long you could keep believing without evidence. God says, I was building something deeper than a moment. I was building endurance. What's coming next will last. It won't be fragile. It won't fall apart under pressure. You are about to experience a new level of peace, not because E becomes perfect, but because you become anchored. God says, storms won't move you the way they used to. You will still face challenges, but they will no longer define you. You'll respond with wisdom instead of panic, prayer instead of fear. This is also a season of answered questions. Things that confused you before will suddenly make sense. God says, I will connect the dots. You'll look back and realize why certain doors had to close, why certain people couldn't stay, why certain prayers were delayed. Clarity is part of the blessing. If you're grateful for how far God has already brought you, comment, thank you, God, right now. There is joy returning to your life. Real joy, not forced smiles. God says, I am restoring your laughter. You will enjoy simple moments again. You will feel light again. You will remember what it's like to hope without guarding your heart so tightly. Some of you will become living proof for others. People will come to you and ask, how did you make it through? And you'll be able to say, God carried me. Your story will strengthen someone else's faith. Your survival will become someone else's encouragement. Don't rush past this season. Be present. God says, receive what I am giving you. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove your worth. Let joy settle in without guilt. You may notice that your desires begin to align with God's will. Things you once wanted no longer excite you. New visions begin to form. God says, I am renewing your mind. Your appetite is changing because your future is changing. Stay consistent. Not perfect, consistent. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Keep choosing what's right, even when no one is watching. God says, faithfulness keeps you positioned. Right now, like this video and comment. I believe if you're choosing to stand on faith, not feelings. This is also a reminder, don't go back to what God already delivered you from. Comfort can be tempting, but purpose is greater. God says, you didn't come this far to return to what nearly broke you. When blessings increase, so must humility. Stay teachable, stay thankful, stay connected to God. God says, I bless those who stay close to me. Gratitude keeps your heart grounded and your path clear. And finally, hear this clearly, you are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not overlooked. God says, I chose you for this moment. Everything you've endured has prepared you for what you're stepping into now. Take a deep breath. This is not the end. This is the beginning of a new chapter, one marked by growth, peace, and purpose. If this message spoke to you, comment, this is my season, and share it with someone who needs encouragement. because what God is about to do in your life will shock you, not just once, but again and again, as you walk forward hand in hand with Him.